I'm writing this for me and my family. Me, 38M, and my wife Alice, 37F, have been together for 7 years. We have a couple of twins, both 6M, and we're a very happy family. My wife also has a son, Luke, 19M. He got an athletic college scholarship but he dropped out and he's currently pursuing a career as a musician in another city. He stays in our home whenever he visits for holidays or vacations. Luke is very tall so it is difficult for him to go unnoticed. When I say revealing clothes I mean that he wears thigh shorts, so tight you can see his boxers, crop tops, women blouses. I mean, it is very distracting as his pubes and trail are very visible. One time I catched him wearing a skirt while watching TV in our living room. I gave him a disapproving look and all he said to me was, "Man, you know we're Irish, don't you?" Which is a crazy thing to say, and I think kilts are from Scotland anyway, but that's not the point. In another instance, he would sit for dinner with a pearl necklace, eyeshadow and a fur coat. For example, my mother and sisters and their kids visited us for Christmas and they agreed that it was on to have a guy dressing like that around the house, especially in front of so many women. A few weeks ago after Christmas dinner, I talked to Luke and voiced my concerns, and he was like, "Okay Cap, no problem," and "Okay sir." "Yes sir." Copy that, sir, clearly mocking me. I must admit I got angry and I yelled at him. I went to vent out my frustration with my wife. However, she didn't back me up or take me seriously, even when I raised my concerns about our boys seeing his older brother acting a fool. I checked her phone and she was texting with Luke, again just joking and making fun of me. Luke texted her something like, "Not your husband body shaming me lol. I didn't get the Hugo Boss dress code memo," and my wife replied, "Follow the dress code, young man, or you'll be executed at midnight. I don't make the rules, babe, I'm sorry 20. I got so mad I gave both of them the silent treatment for the rest of the holidays. Alice tried to talk me down by saying that he's not wearing anything around the house he wouldn't be wearing in public, so our boys would be seeing that style sooner or later whether we liked it or not. She was condescending, like she was talking to an angry old man from another century. I don't know. I don't feel like I was asking something unreasonable and I felt they were bullying me for expressing a reasonable concern about what my twins and my family are seeing in their own home. Our home. My home. And at the end of the day, it is my house, my rules too. Okay, so, long story short, my boyfriend and I live in a major city with a restaurant that has 3 Michelin stars. It's so outside our price range that we've only ever talked about it in fantastical terms, kind of like the way you'd talk about what you'd do if you were Marie Antoinette at Palais Versailles. Well, lo and behold, as part of my annual bonus, my firm, which is quite small and intimate, they market themselves as a boutique specializing in their service expertise, knew I was a big foodie and somehow managed to get me not only reservations to this amazing restaurant but also gave me a $500 gift card to accompany it. Naturally, I lost my shit. This was the coolest gift ever, even if I would have preferred a more generous cash bonus and/or raise. But I also knew I did not have the necessary clout to get a reservation at this particular restaurant, let alone one in the first half of 2023. So anyway, the story goes that I obviously intended to bring my boyfriend. However, he's not a big foodie, and never has been. One of my girlfriends knew this, and not so subtly implied that I should take her in his stead. I asked my boyfriend about this, and him, being the sweet, empathetic boy that he is, was more than willing to give up his seat in lieu of my friend, who arguably is the much bigger foodie than either of us and would have probably appreciated the experience more than my boyfriend or I. Yet, I felt super uncomfortable with this and told my friend I would prefer going with my boyfriend to the date. This is a decision that I now regret and which prompted me to write to internet strangers, because she has since accused me of being naive, ignorant, wasteful, because such a dining experience should not be wasted on those who would not have understood the difference like she would have, and most hurtful of all, a bad friend. To be fair to her, she has always had a passion for food and good restaurants. She has her own food blog which she has diligently posted to since our college days and maintains to this day. I am definitely more of a casual observer of good food, and appreciate the same. As someone who works for a firm that often wines and dines its clients in upper echelon restaurants. She is right, However, when she claims that my boyfriend and I would not be able to tell the difference between a 1 Michelin-starred restaurant versus a 3 Michelin-starred restaurant because we probably wouldn't. Anyway, I ended up just letting her have the reservation slot and I kept the $500 gift card to potentially use myself or give to someone else with a reservation there. But my boyfriend has kept voicing his disappointment that I'm an idiot and a doormat. Moreover, I feel bad that I promised him a fancy dinner at this 3 Michelin-starred restaurant and then rescinded the offer to give to someone else. My 28F wife, 29F, and I have been together for 3 years, married for 1. Prior to us being together she was very anti-pets, zero interest. I'd always wanted a cat. We talked and with heavy persuasion from me, ended up getting a Bengal from a breeder. She turned out to be very skittish, so we got her a Bengal sibling to maybe help. Neither of them are super cuddly, so we added a calico who is. All of these were joint decisions. Wife feeds them, I do litter box, water, meds, and Google solutions to any issues that come up. We just bought a house and I do most of the cleaning, vacuuming, dusting, tubs, laundry, etc. This was the case when I worked, but more so since I've been unemployed for 4 months. I've felt discontent with the cats since we moved because I have to clean constantly to stay on top of the shed hair, the food mess, the litter tracked everywhere. They randomly throw up on rugs and pooped on the hardwood floor. Vet visit showed nothing wrong. They've ripped out the bottoms of a new sofa set and scratched up the other. And wife frets about the cats being sad when we go out of town, even though my sister watches them for free each time. All in all, I'm over them and want to rehome them responsibly. The first alone and the last 2 together. I've mentioned it before and was met with sadness and resentment for bringing them into our lives, her getting attached and now me wanting them gone. She felt I was being flaky and said I struggle with commitment. So I walked it back with a condition that wife would do more cleaning up after them. I haven't seen that happen. I understand how it would hurt my wife to give them up, but all I see are upsides with less mess, more money in the budget, more space with their cat stuff gone. Ida for prioritizing those things over her joy and love for the cats. My husband recently lost a parent in a shocking, horrible way and he is grieving. I'm giving him a wide berth to go through this in his own way, with whatever support I can, without any pressure to do things around the house or even communicate much with me. I'm trying to follow his lead and be there while he withdraws into himself. I'm also trying to shelf all our existing issues for a while until he has processed this loss, and I realize that can take a long time and there's no timeline to grief. He's in therapy, thankfully. The only thing I worry about is our 2-year-old. They run around calling for their dad and he totally ignores them. Even when he's right in front of them and clearly upset, asking to be picked up or acknowledged. He will respond and hug them once in a while, but the kid is getting confused at the unpredictability and they're becoming distraught at times, trying to find their dad around the house even when he's out. I keep saying he's busy and trying to distract and comfort as best I can. Would I be an asshole to tell my husband he needs to be there a bit more for our child? I'm afraid he's doing emotional damage to our child somehow, making them see their dad as unreliable and someone they have to chase for attention. How can I do that without being an asshole? Info: it was just over a month ago that my husband's parent passed, along with a couple of months of rapid decline, and I used they for my kid to keep gender anonymous. Sorry if it reads in a confusing way. Thank you all for your amazing responses. So many folks have wisdom on this from their own personal grief experiences and I appreciate it so much. The words I've read, a lot in them are gentle and careful, and I will try to do my best to talk to him gently and carefully. I am guessing on some level he feels guilty for not being there with his child, and I don't want to make it worse by adding to that guilt.